Hello and welcome to Zulf Photography. Today's live streaming episode I'm going to be talking about what kind of photos can you take with old cameras, specifically speaking about Canon cameras. So I've got Canon 550D which I use quite a lot. There are different types of cameras. So my 550D, which you can see here, is workhorse of a lens, which I won't talk about, but the Canon 550D, great camera, and it's a crop sensor camera. It's a fairly old camera. You see that? Maybe, possibly. But this 550D you could probably pick up fairly cheap on eBay. Second old camera, let's widen this up a bit so you can see everything. 5D Mark II. Not probably the best lighting here, but you can make out. This is streaming in 720p also, so I'm hoping that you can pick up the details. So 5D Mark II and Canon 550D, both old cameras. 550D may be 10 years old now, so that's something to think about in terms of types of cameras. You can also think about other types of cameras, so action cameras. I've got one here, action camera, old. It's a 4K apparently on eBay, but I won't go into that. That's a whole new kettle of fish. It's a fake 4K from China. I did some testing on. I might link to a video somewhere, but this video is about Canon cameras and specifically using old cameras for photography. So what I'll do is cover a few points. I'm gonna cover the cameras I've got, how old they are, the lenses. So old cameras are fine if you use a good lens. So in this example, because it's a 550D, that's fine. But alongside the 550D, I've got a 24-70 lens, which is a professional series lens for Canon with a red ring, and it does take great photos. Shortly I'll be bringing up Lightroom and showing you examples of the photos it takes. So if you put a really great piece of lens on an old camera, that's something that will give you good photos, great photos even. So don't worry about buying a really good body if you've got a budget and not thinking about the lenses. So make sure you think about the lenses and then buy your body. So for example, I would prefer to spend £300-400 on a lens and then worry about the body afterwards. This lens probably still goes for £400-500, I'm guessing. But you know what, let's, for the sake of this video, let's just check. So if I pop up on Google and check that for you. Okay, we've got Google up there. So I've searched 550D there just to give you an example, and just quickly looking alongside here, £185. So you know, I've got a whole new video about buying your first camera, so it's probably worth checking that out. But go back to this and go on to, that is the Canon 24-70 2.8 lens, and it's the normal version. So let's give you a quick price comparison. Looking there, actually, okay, I was quite a bit off there. I got it as part of a kit, but you know what, lenses, let's just go on to eBay, see what eBay shows us. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so you can actually see it, because that was fairly small, wasn't it? So eBay 24-70, once would be enough. Search that, bring this up a little bit there. Man, just thinking about it. Okay, so eBay and the 24-70, see what they're saying. Okay, £550, not a bad. Probably get it cheaper, you know. I won't do that whole search, but that's a good starter kit for any camera to give you good grade photos. But I'll show you examples of the types of photos you can take with that, so don't worry about that. Okay, that screen has just messed up there, so sorry about that. Let me just sort that out. Okay, so that is your option. If I go back to, we've covered the types of cameras, two types of cameras, even the action camera is a possibility. And age, old cameras, don't worry if they're really old. 10 years, still reasonable quality images. I still take photos with it today. Lenses, different types of lenses available. I've shown you one example. You know what, let's get straight into the examples of photos. So here is a photo that I'm showing you just there, and that photo is taken on a Canon 550D. Let me just make sure I can prove that to you by doing this. So in Lightroom you can filter by metadata, and what that allows you to do is show the type of camera the photo was taken with. So this 550D is the camera. I used to have a 500D, which is actually older than the 550, so I'll show you some examples of that. But this is a portraiture and fashion work, so you'll see that example here. And 550D, let's go to that lens, 2470, 2470. Yes, okay, at the time I had a Sigma lens. So actually the Sigma lens was cheaper than the Canon lens, because at that time I didn't have this lens. So that would be an even better comparison, because that other lens was actually cheaper. It's a Sigma 17-70. So let's go down here and see what types of photos I took with the 550D, and give you an example of some wide shots and some zoomed in shots. So this is just loading here while I show you this. And you know what, while that's loading up, let me just have a look at that Sigma lens and give you a price comparison on that, because that Sigma was a 17-70, and that wasn't that was a 2.8 to f4, so it wasn't a constant 2.8. So let me just go back to the right screen so you can see that. Okay, so there I just quickly bought that up on eBay. So we'll see that Sigma lens now. That Sigma lens actually you could pick up for £309.99. So that's another option for you if you're looking at photography on the cheap. So that lens I had for a fair amount of time. It is a crop sensor body lens, so you can't use it on full frame. The only reason I changed that lens, the Sigma lens, was because I wanted a lens that I could use on crop sensor and full frame, because I shoot with a 5D Mark II and the Canon 550. That's why. But if I go back to the example photos with the Sigma lens, still the Canon 550 body. And let's just go down here and pick up a couple of these photos. Okay, so this is going to be a wide shot. This might be an interesting one here. Okay, so that shot there, it's a wide shot. You're basically looking at the whole stage, and here is the model walking down. You want a nice mix of shots. You want some wide shots and you want some close-up shots to show detail. So with this lens and the 550D, this was shot as at ISO 200, 17mm at 2.8. So you can see that for a low light condition, because everything else is dark and she's being lit by spotlight, is an example of a decent photo. If I go back and show you something with a more telephoto lens, so here is a 70-200 2.8 IS. Let's see what kind of photos you can take with a 10-year-old camera and a good lens, IS USM. And I'm hoping I can give you an example with low light as well. Okay, there's a good example. So that photo there was taken at ISO 800 on a crop sensor body with a 2.8 lens, telephoto lens. So with this you can see the stream is 720p, so you may not get a great view of the quality. It might be blurry, but I might find a way of linking you to these photos so you can actually check them out on Flickr or something, if Flickr even exists anymore. So that's one option for the 550. Let me show you another one, something more portraiture type thing. Let's have a look. Okay, there's a nice one, a bit closer in. Let's try that one. Okay, so that's another one there. That was printed in a magazine, and it was taken on a Canon 550D ISO 800. So you can see there's enough detail there, and this is the raw image, by the way. You can edit this to give it a bit of extra room, as they say. And this one is from back in 2012, I think. Just checking the time, 2013. So you can see enough detail there, possibly on this stream, but yeah, that's basically giving you an idea of that. Now, you know what, I'll show you a couple of other photos, because not everybody's going to be doing fashion photography. So let me open another catalog and show you a bit of product photography. With the product photography side of things, it's slightly different. So what happens is you need to set up with lighting, and you should get better results in theory. I was playing about with some shots. This is an old Ben Sherman watch, and I was just messing about with it, to be honest. So that again will be taken on a 550D. Let me just check the metadata to confirm and give you an example. That was 2013 as well, Canon 550, and the same Sigma lens. And here we've got some roly-poly photos as well. So Rolex, just tile with water on, and I'm hoping you can see this, but this was taken at ISO 800. At that time I didn't have great lights, so this is going back in 2013 as well, and it was taken at f4. There wasn't any macro shifting aid, so you couldn't layer the focus to get a great image. But this is just a shot taken for product photography and testing my abilities back then. So question is, Canon 550, old camera, 10 years old, is it still viable? I think it is if you're looking at this video, and you should be able to see. Let me show you another example. Okay, yeah, there's a nice one, there's a nice one. So using light to, but not a great shot. I do tend to, also in watch photography, you should put the watch 10 to 10 or 10 past 2. That makes a smiley face. I don't think I did that here. I didn't know that back then, or maybe I did. Let me have a look at it. Yeah, no, I didn't. I think this was a playing about video, so I was just testing it out basically. There's a couple of stones here, so just various shots basically to give you an idea of what you can achieve with the old camera. It's not great shots, but it's just playing about to test what is possible with I think it was on a tripod, and I was shooting live view. So I basically plugged it into the EOS tool in the PC and did it that way. So that's something to look at there in terms of photography. Let me see if I can show you any other examples. With a 550, where would be best? Find that. Let me just make sure it's the right one before I put it onto. Let me just go back here. That was just to look at the old Sigma lens while I'm getting the Lightroom set up for you to show you that. And I'm hoping this live stream is working well. I'm having a bit of difficulty with the delay and lag, but we'll soon sort that out. So okay, you know what, I've got a great one for you. So if I put you back to my Lightroom now, so here is some photos I did for some cricket photography for a journalist for a newspaper back when. Some extra photos in there, but let me show you something with the metadata. So Canon 550D, and then 50mm 1.4. that was some fashion photography work for Oozes Couture, and that was a 550D. So you can tell there straight away that's a clear shot and good black background blur. ISO 100, 50mm 2.8. And let me show you another one just to kind of round this off, so you see the types of photos you can achieve with the old camera. And I've got a 500D as well, which is also an old camera. Let's just have a look at those black and white shots. So look at that. That was actually given in an exhibition, and I got an award for that. I went around the country where loads of people saw it. So you can take amazing pictures with an old camera. Don't let your gear stop you. And I'm hoping this gave you a brief idea of the types of photos you can achieve. There was some other photos in this that I can show you, but let me just make sure I can see everything, and then I can show you that last example of photos before we end this. So what I will do is I'll link you some other videos which will help you keep an eye out for what old cameras are good. So I will link to 2 videos which I've made. So what I'll do is, if I put you onto the last screen here, what to do, you can check out the video on the left, which is what YouTube thinks you should watch, and on the right I've put a video about the Canon 550D. Is it worth buying it in 2019? Have a look at that and see what you think. Make sure to comment and let me know what you think, and if you have old cameras, especially Nikon and any other makes, it'd be great to hear what else is available for these guys, because if you're watching this video, I'm sure in the comments it will help you to decide if this is good for you. But make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, so you get notified as soon as a new video comes out, and I'll see you on the next video.